Hey, welcome to another edition of Because Science Live, the show on the Because Science enterprise where I take your nerdy questions live and try to answer them off the top of my head so that we can all maybe get a little bit less wrong. That's what I usually do, but on today's show I have something very special for you all. 269. That is the number of original MythBusters episodes that I have seen. All of them. That's all of them. I went into engineering because of MythBusters. I grew up on that show. And on MythBusters is the first time that we met Kari, Byron, an artist, a maker, a blower-upper of things who has gone on to be one of the most recognizable faces in science outreach and science education. I am very, very pleased to tell you that we have Kari Byron on this show today to answer my questions and yours just in time for the release of her new book, Crash Test Girl, on May 8th. You can find it wherever books are sold. Let's go talk to Kari. Oh, it's seamless. It's seamless. Hello and welcome to this very special episode, and welcome, big chat, welcome to Kari Byron, everyone. Yeah. Oh, lovely as always. Thank you so much for coming. How have you been?
I've been great. I mean, I've been locked in a dark room writing a book, but other than that,
it's been about a year since we talked to each other.
I know, too
Things
long.
have changed.
Well, except for the internet. I spent some time on the socials.
Yeah, I like to see you there. After MythBusters, like we said, and after the White Rabbit Project, after a live tour, now, like you said, you have a new book out. It's kind of like a half memoir, half self-help book for yourself.
Yeah.
And also others if they want to. It's called Crash Test Girl. Ooh, you can see it right here, and it's available everywhere on May 8th. And why don't you tell me a little bit about what it means to you, at least, to be a crash test girl? What does that mean?
Well, I wrote this book because I'm an inherently shy person, which you probably wouldn't believe because I've been on TV a lot.
Oh, no, I get it. Trust me. They have to cattle prod me out here.
No.
They
no.
Don't give it away.
I don't get that about you.
It's true, though.
So I had to spend, I think my life journey has been about learning to be brave and create opportunities for myself, and it's been a tough journey to get to this place. So
Sure.
I wanted to write a book for people like me that kind of explains my life methodology, which is something that I think that I really learned from MythBusters, is a critical thinking life methodology, but I had been doing it my whole life, and that is, I use a scientific method to sort of frame how I tackle big problems.
Yeah, but the problems that you cover, I think, are more far-ranging than someone might assume. You know, reading the book, you cover everything from style to money to friendships to even your own sexuality. I mean, how does the experimentation in the scientific method help you in maybe these, not very sciencey aspects of life?
Well, I mean, this is not a kid's science book, which I think people might expect me to come out with. I actually wanted to give you kind of a behind the scenes, pull back the curtain on who I really am.
Yeah.
And I think that I frame it with the scientific method, which is really just critical thinking. I call it Crash Test Girl because that's kind of my step in the scientific method of experimentation. It's always been crash testing, where I just dive in head first, because if I hesitate, I get too scared and I won't jump and I won't take opportunities. So I have to dive into big situations, like getting my job on MythBusters. I was trying to figure out, how to be a sculptor and get paid for it, because I didn't want to be a starving artist. So my big brave move there was to make a pretty mediocre portfolio and go straight to Jamie Heineman and give it to his critical eye to look through with such disinterest. Before he got to the last page, he's like, well, that might work.
I mean, that's pretty good. If you want to do it that way here.
But I was just like, you know what? I have a great job, but hey, I'll quit that and work for you for free. And then just kind of picked up the pieces from there.
Wow. A lot of things that you mentioned in this book, I think people might not expect from your on-camera persona that I think people know you for. And I wonder if in pulling back this curtain, this book is kind of cathartic for you. I mean, you don't pull any punches in this book. I mean, you talk about struggles with depression, you talk about struggles with salary, even on MythBusters, and inherent sexism and bias and all these things. Does it feel good to kind of come out, so to speak, and present your own image of yourself to the world rather than what is presented to people?
Well, it's funny, when I was actually writing it, I was by myself, and it felt like I was just sort of writing in a diary, and it wasn't until after I spent the advance and I gave them the copy, I went, oh my God, what have I done?
Oh no!
Wait a minute. But
I'm locked in.
No, actually, when I was thinking about writing this book, I had met some women on this show called Road Trip Nation, and one of the girls was talking about dealing with depression. Mm-hmm. And she was asking me, how do you do it when you are a public figure and have to deal with it? And I realized there's a lot of people that have to deal with depression, and from mild to severe. And I think by telling people, yeah, I may be perky and out there all the time and publicly speak, and I might be this smiley person, but I also deal with darkness myself. Oh, sure. And if I can do it, and this is the way I do it, maybe by recognizing it, it'll make it easier for that girl that I met.
Sure. I mean, the thing that I tell people too, because I feel like, you may or may not believe me, but I feel a certain kinship with you in that respect, because I have pretty much two modes. I am either on,
or more on,
or I am off, where I just kind of want to be in a dark corner by myself. Yeah. So I appreciate that you acknowledge and work through publicly, which is hard to do, some of the struggles that you can have where your public image doesn't fit how you think about yourself or how perhaps you operate day to day. I think that's really brave.
Well, thanks. I mean, personally, I like reading memoirs, but I hate memoirs by people who have it all figured out and always have. I like my role models
Well, when I made my first 10 million, I mean, it was pretty cool.
I like it when people are a little messy and they didn't have all the answers, and then they figured out along the way, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's how you did it, that's how I can do it.
Sure. And, speaking of women, and young women especially, getting into STEAM fields, science, technology, engineering, arts especially.
Thank you for adding me, I appreciate that.
You have to. I mean, you talk to, you go into NASA, you ask people to raise their hands, like, who got this job because they like Star Trek? I'm assuming most of them are going to raise their hands. There's a reciprocal relationship between the art that we create and the ideas that we, I'm preaching to the choir here. But given that you do a lot of public speaking and engagement with young girls and with STEAM, have you found that they have many of these similar experiences now that you are writing in this book? Does it kind of help to maybe engage on another level with them?
I mean, absolutely. And this book is definitely for the women who've come up to me at places like Comic-Con, where they grew up watching the show, but now they're about to embark onto adulthood, or men that are about to embark into adulthood, and they're just trying to figure it out. Mm-hmm. And this is their crash test moment in life. And this book is for me to show them how I crash tested to become a road tested woman.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds weird, but I was one of those people. I mean, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and then I kind of went head first day in college, went straight into engineering because I love the show.
Oh, that's awesome!
And look at us now!
Now
wow.
we're friends.
Don't think about it too much, or else I'm going to freak out. Given all the potential hardships, given the way that you think about the world, how could, in your mind, how could being a crash test girl or living a crash test girl kind of life, help you approach some of these problems, or how has it helped you?
Well, I mean, I think that's something very important for people in general, is you can't be afraid to fail. Mm-hmm. I mean, we always had that on our hats. Failure's always an option, because you'll never get anywhere when you're too scared to fail. Sure. And failure is going to teach you so many lessons. I've had bad jobs, bad boyfriends, lot of bad decisions. Yeah. But from all of those, I learned what I really wanted, or what I really needed, or how to get to the next step.
Right.
So for me, crash testing is really about just creating opportunities for yourself and not being afraid to fail.
Yeah, when I try to move through life kind of like that, I'm I'm trying to become more and more willing to make a mistake, but only make that kind of mistake once. It's like, take it, learn from it, don't do it again, or else you're just effing up.
Like,
Kids watch the show.
Don't dye your own hair with those boxes from the store. Oh my God, I turned my hair green in high school, and I had a skunk stripe down the middle because I thought I could highlight my own hair. See, then from then on, go to the hairdresser. Hairdresser says, hey, you look good in red.
Yeah, or hey, you look good in blonde. No, that's not what happens. I'm totally natural and amazing. So before we move to questions, I woke up like this. Before we move to questions from the chat, since this is live, I wanted to ask, what's next?
Well, actually, I just...
Can you talk about this?
I can. Well, I can't talk about my future TV gigs because they haven't been announced yet, but I can talk about this. I just joined up with a scrappy young startup called Smart Girls. That's spelled G-U-R-L-Z.
Because there is another company called Smart Girls, which happens to work in this building.
Oh,
actually.
so it's not them.
Did you know that?
It's not them.
No, it's not them.
This is a toy company that they make coding toys, like coding robot toys, but aimed at girls. So the toy that they have out now, it was actually on Shark Tank, and they got
awesome.
they got an offer.
Oh, well, that's, yeah.
It's like a Barbie-sized doll that rides a Segway, and you can program it and learn block coding, and it's got all sorts of like games and activities that go with it. And I have just joined as their chief creative officer, so I'm helping to propel them into the next stage of investing because I'm girls and STEM has always been my battle cry.
Yeah.
And I feel like you gotta get them young. You
Yep,
gotta get them interested in science and coding, and you gotta get them young, and you've got to do it on their territory. Women were more apt to learn through verbal skills and through storytelling, and so if you can take coding and add it to a doll,
sure,
we might be able to get girls.
Yeah, I mean, because
science.
There's a lot of toys like that, but have an inherently male focus with Legos and big robots that shoot things and stuff like that. It deserves to have some kind of parity. If it works for boys, it should work for young women. You just have to find the right inroad, like you said, to get them young. And I think that's critically important because it's pretty hot out here in Burbank, and someone needs to do something.
I believe you.
And I can't. And it's not going to be me.
There's just not a lot of toys like that cater to girls. We're definitely taking the lead from Goldie Blocks that has been changing the market. And Deborah is a friend of mine from Goldie Blocks, and I was just like, oh my God, I want to do what you're doing.
That's fantastic. Well, congratulations. That's awesome to hear. Let's move on to some questions from chat from Facebook. We have Jamie L. Robertson. What is something that you have learned that might help young women starting out in STEM fields right now? Maybe a good piece of advice, maybe something to start out with.
I mean, I think the failure right there. I think that what we've been talking about, failure is always an option. I think that it's really hard to get into those fields. Yeah. And you need to seek out people who are just like you, which luckily social media is there for. If you happen to be the only female in your STEM field that's doing what you're doing in your place, you can probably find a network of women who are also those only women. Yeah, no, I heard a story, I think on NPR, where they were talking to these young girls who started they actually made a Girl Scout badge for the number of times that you raised your hand in class, because these young girls were terrified of ever being wrong in front of all the boys in the class and the other women in the class. And I think taking failure as an option to heart it kind of dovetails into the same thing. I feel like we're also, just as females, we're doing a little different than they used to. It used to be very Heathers and we were cannibals back in the day, but I feel like girls are getting more supportive of each other and realizing that we all excel when we help each other. Yeah. That's great. Another question from Rebecca Holben on Facebook. What was the favorite thing that you investigated in the first season of the White Rabbit Project? Can I guess? Yeah, go ahead. Is it when you rigged up Tori with the mind control sensors? Of course it is. I took it on the live tour. I loved it so much. Yeah. I love mind control. I just like that whole theme. Superpowers that you can achieve now. Trust me, I feel you. Yeah. Next time you come back, we'll do that. What you got?
Well, hook
You got
up
some
with,
su- oh,
no,
you want me to
hook
hook
up with
you
the
up?
sensors, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And we'll have a wine dinner.
I can torture you.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Because I've gotten better at it.
Oh my
Just
goodness.
saying.
Don't know whether I'm excited or scared. Another question is Kristen Gillum from Twitter. What's your favorite, since this is May the 4th, Star Wars Day,
Yeah.
what's your favorite sci-fi weapon of choice? And then ruin it.
And then ruin it. My favorite sci-fi weapon of choice. Oh goodness.
You're going into battle. You pass a room full of sci-fi weapons. You say, "Oh, I'm taking this thing."
I mean, it's May the 4th. Shouldn't I just pick a lightsaber?
I mean, you could.
I mean, I feel like that's what I should do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta get that save.
Yeah, I mean, because your best sci-fi weapon is really intelligence. I mean, that's why Batman is a superhero. That guy ain't got nothing but money and intelligence. That's, I feel like in all the sci-fi movies, the dumb guys go first anyway. So I'm gonna go with intelligence. How about that? It's not even on your weapon list.
Could be a weapon. I mean, Brainiac, he's just weaponized intelligence, right?
Oh yeah.
So you're right on the money.
Okay.
Let's move to some live stuff. James Carr asked, "What's the most?" I told you I wasn't going to ask any of these questions. I lied. What's the most surprising myth that you busted? What was the most surprising result?
I mean, it was on for 269 episodes, so there was a lot. Most surprising. I mean, we always say that our most surprising was Bull in a China Shop because bulls are very graceful.
Yeah, you go through it in the book as well.
Yeah, and that was definitely our most surprising result.
They're like tippy-toeing around those shelves. If you haven't seen it, check out, look up a clip. It's probably on YouTube or some other service or Discovery.com. It is legit amazing.
I was also actually really surprised, though. I had grown up hearing that a shark can react to a drop of blood in an Olympic-sized pool, and when we tested that myth on the very first Shark Week, I was new, and I was so surprised that wasn't true.
Yeah, sometimes you got to test these things. It's not
Hey.
Common knowledge is not always, it's common sense is usually wrong. I find.
And that myth was hilarious to test because we had this like crazy little rig where we had to make little balloons of different substances that came from a human. One was vomit, and so I threw up for the guys because I'm like, I'm going to show you how much I belong on this show. So I stuck my finger down my throat and I gave them vomit. We had to have blood, we had to have pee, but the hardest thing to get was actually we were on a little island.
Yeah.
And we needed the little balloons, so I had to get in a golf cart and go to every stand in the entire place and get unlubricated condoms as the balloons and buy them out on the entire island. And it's a small island, and word gets around, and people look at me so weird.
Yeah, imagine. Well, like there's this woman going around buying every condom she can find.
I'll take all you've got, all of them. I need all of them. They're like, okay. And this is before MythBusters is big or even there.
So you're just this woman.
Lady that's crazy.
Wow, she must have really needed it. At least she's being really safe. Kieran Cassidy says, speaking of superpowers, what superpower would you want to have? Sometimes I go through superpowers saying, well, if you think about it, you probably don't want to have it. Like super speed, you'd probably rip your legs off. But what superpower would you want?
You don't think that if you had super speed, though, you would also come with a body that can handle super speed?
I mean, you sound like one of my commenters. Yes.
I like mind control.
Yeah. I sense a theme
I know.
here.
I really enjoyed that, but I want it for real, for real.
Yeah, I would like to stop time.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Or teleporting. My kid and I always talk about this. I would love, she and I have this conversation a lot because she's a third grader now, so this is what we go into. And
why do we still have to drive to work?
We just right now it could be like, I want to be in Paris because their baguettes taste better. I'm sorry, I've not found a baguette in America that can touch the worst baguette in Paris. I'm just like, what if we could just go there and get one for breakfast?
I have the same thing with pasta from Italy.
Ugh.
What if I could just go get a spaghetti?
I mean, these are seriously privileged kind of conversations to have. Or you could solve world hunger or something.
No. I mean, Batman could give billions of dollars to at-risk youth programs. Put it back into the community. Or he could punch you
and fight Catwoman. Right. Okay.
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 Yeah, she's sold. We have another question from Twitter, this time from @ToughSF, or Matterbeam, friend of the show. This is something that I've...
Tough SF, I like that.
Tough Sci-Fi.
Oh, yeah.
Really likes getting hard on it.
Okay.
Oops.
Go on.
Oops. Anyway, how much of the forbidden knowledge have you acquired through MythBusters that you can't tell us about?
So much. I know retired FBI. I know bomb techs. I have done shows, especially when I was doing America Declassified for the Travel Channel, where I ask all of these questions, and then the camera goes off, and they're like, "Let me tell you what actually happened at Area 51," and I'm just like,
"Wait, what? Wait, so you know?" Oh, no one tell Chobot. I want her to be in the dark forever. Oh, that's... I feel like I need to ask a follow-up question, but I can't, or else there'll be like a little dot that appears near my head or something like that. Another question from Twitter, @Adam Lee Hughes asks, on a scale from 1 to 100, how awesome is it earning a living from blowing things up and being under the auspices of science for doing so? I already know the answer. I just want attention. I pre-ordered your book.
Aw, thanks. It's super duper awesome, but we don't just blow things up. Sometimes we think too.
No, it's all about explosions. Blow something up. I'm a general audience.
Well, by the way, I do have really good friends at the sheriff's department, and I still do have privileges. So if there's everything, if you need
I don't know if we can. Yeah, we can.
If you need to blow something up, I'm your girl.
Well, I mean,
I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, we could probably tell this story, right? I did something MythBusters tangential, and we needed blasting.
Oh, you need black powder.
We needed black powder.
And electric matches.
And so we knew who to call, and black powder came with, what was it, cupcakes and candy?
I mean, that's just the kind of girl I am.
It was explosives wrapped in a nice bag with also candy if you wanted it.
Well, I got this phone call. It's like, oh my God, we need this now. We don't have time to wait for permitting or doing it right. So do you happen to know where you can get some quickly? I'm like, yeah, and I'm baking.
That's, yeah. We're getting really close to a lot of things that we can't talk about.
Watch lists. I'm on a lot of watch lists.
You're definitely close to no fly.
Yeah, I know. But all the TSA people know me, so they're just like, we're not even going to swab
I was
you.
worried about that. Do you ever get worried like that you were going to get swabbed like on your boot or something like that? I was like, ma'am, you're covered in C4.
Yeah, generally, yeah, I have been swabbed.
That ever happened?
Yeah.
You get stopped?
But
you got a lot of gunpowder and C4 on you, ma'am.
It's just, my boots, I've gone straight from the bomb range to the airport, and the whole time I'm just sweating, which probably didn't make it easier for them to, they're like, she's sweating, looks nervous, pull her out of line.
You're dripping black powder, ma'am.
But like, they're like, I know who you are. It's fine.
I loved that experience of the TSA.
She's
got bombs. Don't exit out that window. Another question from chat that I'm looking at. Might not have an answer for this, but Emmett is random asks, what are your views on lasers?
I like the lasers. I don't know. Lasers are good.
It's easy enough.
Yeah.
Another question we have, since we're still doing live, is from me, because they're no longer on the sheet. They're no longer on the sheet of paper. One comes from Aleph Sharp, who's writing as we speak. With movies like The Martian having come out in the past several years, what scientific discipline, type faster, should a
live TV, folks?
What type of scientific discipline should a realistic movie? What is happening?
I feel like I know where you're going with this,
yeah.
But I could be completely wrong. But I'm a huge science fiction fan, and one thing that I really loved growing up is I became obsessed with this book, Neuromancer. Okay.
Oh my God, Kari. Oh my God, yes.
Okay, so I read this book out loud to two of my friends because I'm like, yeah, I feel like you need to experience this. So on a really long road trip,
I feel like I sense where a lot of your style comes from now.
Yes,
actually. You want to be a razor girl.
I
know.
Yeah,
okay.
I know. Okay,
yeah,
so I love Neuromancer.
I
love Blade Runner. I love all of this sort of like that dystopian, futuristic society kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But what I like the best about Strange Days and Blade Runner and all this kind of early sci-fi is that all the things that we saw then seem to be happening now.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, was that predictive? Did
Yeah.
you predict all of these things with your creativity, or did you inform the scientists who created those things because they wanted them to be real
Yeah.
from your books?
Well, that's why I think that goes back to STEAM, right? I mean, if William Gibson hadn't have thought of, like derms, like, was that before nicotine patches were a thing? I'm not sure, but like dermal patches, and do you want the eyeglasses inserted into your, like, they can just.
I mean, of course.
Oh my God.
I mean, the closest we got was like, what was that, like the little flip ones that Dwayne Wayne or?
Hey. Yeah, no, but she had to have her tear ducts rerouted into her mouth, so she cried out of her mouth for that, and it was salty. Those are
I
great.
kind of
books.
like that. I feel like I'm not a pretty crier. I feel like it'd be better if it just like
all
just
came out of
all
my body.
It'd be like, and then you also wouldn't have to eat salty food because it would just like you could get plain potato chips and just feel sad.
I mean, don't you already when you're eating that many potato chips, though?
No, I'm not from LA. I love potato chips. Like, we eat up there like lots of food. I went to a restaurant today. Everybody was eating a salad, and I looked around. I was like, oh my God, somebody get me a burrito. And it's just like,
Yeah, no.
I'm one of those people that eats more when I get here. So I'm like, oh
No.
God, everybody looks so hungry.
No, Kari, it's a hellscape out here. A lot of people don't know that in between the void where I exist back there and this stage, it is hot madness.
I mean, everyone's gorgeous, but they're so skinny.
It's no way to live.
It's no way to live. Eat something, man.
Okay, another question from the chat. Lord Tesla. Oh, this
Ooh,
is.
I already like it.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of getting back into forbidden knowledge. But was there a myth that you ever wanted to test? I'm going to expand this just from MythBusters and stuff like that, because you've been asked a million times about that. Has there ever been a myth or something in your life or in your personal life or anything that you've been wanting to test but are not allowed to?
Well, yes, actually, and I've really thought about this one, but it is sick.
Hit me.
I mean, it's dark. But
Okay.
if I was still on, so when I was in Hawaii, somebody gave me the myth that a lot of the foods that use Spam, because there's a lot of recipes with Spam, were introduced because in the old days they were cannibals, and that pig is the closest thing, like Spam is actually the closest flavor to human, which, I mean, I think it's a total myth, clearly. Maybe not, but I don't know if
Are you saying you want to
tastes
taste
like human? So this is how I figured you could test it darkly but legally. Are you willing to go there?
Are you gonna get a body donated?
No, because I've thought of that, but I think that's a little too dark for TV. So if I was still on MythBusters, this is what I would have done: is pork rinds. Pork rinds, that's just fat, right? That's like fat, skin kind of stuff?
Yeah, it's flash fried fat, I think.
Right? Okay, so there's your pig. Now we put that side by side with what you can get from, say, like a liposuction clinic or from some sort of medical, because that's something people they're just getting rid of that. They just throw that away, right?
This is very Tyler Durden of you.
So if you can figure out how to
get all that discarded fat that they're just giving away.
Just throw it away, and you turn that into like a pork rind style thing, and then you just put them side by side.
Are you making human pork? Are you making human rinds?
And then see if they taste alike, because the myth being that pig tastes like you. I know it's dark. I just like these.
Look at everyone on set. Look at what you have done to them.
I had a long car ride, and I think of stuff.
Man,
like
you know what I could go for now? A burrito or human rinds.
I wouldn't eat it. I would make other people eat it because.
You just make it.
Yes.
I feel like you're discovering something about yourself right now.
I'm discovering this is probably why I'm not on MythBusters anymore. They're like, let's just stop with her ideas.
Look, I got a great idea.
I'm not on the show anymore. Is they're like, she is sick AF.
Look,
out of here.
Season 14. Let me hit you with this. We eat people. It's gonna be great.
Buy my book.
And with that, this is perfect. Everyone, please give a big round of applause to Kari Byron. Thank you so much for being here. You can buy Crash Test Girl, available on May 8th next week, wherever books are sold. Kari, you are wonderful and lovely as always. Thank you so much for being here.
When the cameras go off, I'll tell you about Area 51 and my real sick ideas.
Oh, bye.
Bye.
We can't show you that stuff. Get out of here. She's gonna tell me secrets.